Hello everyone, today we're going to learn buttons in Bootstrap. First thing, insert it, okay? Just insert the script and the link of Bootstrap. Bootstrap 4, don't forget. And then I'm going to show you the button. The button will need to have a class btn button. Okay, you click it, it works. But, just as the video about colors, instead of text and background, you can put btn, primary, secondary, success, info to change the theme of something. So it will change colors, okay? The button, the class button and the colors also work for links and etc. So if you can see, you add the button info to the anchor and you put the role of button so it will look like a button actually. Then input as well and the button itself. So don't forget, links, buttons, inputs can receive the button bootstrap classes. And I forgot to mention that before has a hover, like a darker hover in the background for each. Now the outline, instead of having the button even by primary, you have the outline right in the middle. So instead of having the blue for the primary, instead of having the blue background, you will have a white background with a border and text with color. And if you hover it, it will just become the normal button. It's just amazing, the hover of this one. Okay. Now the three sides of the button can be large. The default one doesn't need to put anything, but the small one needs. So btn, even large, LG for large, SM for small. Okay. Now the full width primary button. Not for the primary. Sorry, it's for every button. Okay. You can put the button block, button even block, and it will become full width. I can show you. It actually increase the width depending on the screen size. Now disable, okay? The class can be active, okay? You see active primary. If you remove it, it will have the hover again and active, etc. But with active, it will just be active and you won't have hover and such things. Now for the button, the disable. It's not a class. For the button, it's not a class because the button in HTML can actually have the state of disabled when anchor does not. So the anchor will need class called disable. Now the button can have this loading, this spinning thing. So if you want to add your button, you just create a button with the class that you want, the button and the color. Then you put the span with a class of spinner border. It will allow you to rotate this thing, okay, you see. If I remove it, it will have no thing rotating. And then the spinner border SM. To make it small, if you put the default or larger, it will become very large, okay. Then you just close the span and the button. It also works for the loading, but instead of having all in the span, we close the span and put the loading, okay, the text. After that, you can also disable it, the same thing but disabled. And lastly, with the spinner grow. The spinner grows small, it's something but it's a different animation. If you remove this disable, it also works as a normal button. Now it's the button group. We are going to start with the button groups because that's a large grid, you see. So the button group is simply div with the class button group and you put buttons in it. Very simple, isn't it? Then you can also change the size of it, you see. You can simply put the even and LG, SM or the default one. If you remove this, default. Small, you see? Very easy to change the size of it. Now the button group vertical, okay? The button group vertical, simply, it's the same thing, you just put the hyphen on vertical and it will be vertical buttons, okay? Now, the button group with the little drop down, you see? So, if you create two normal buttons, simply as that, and then you create a div button with the class button group, it will be the group of the drop down. You can create a button that will have the class button primary, and then the drop down toggle. This is not only the color, this is only for the button working, and the drop down toggle will allow you to have this arrow. And the data toggle is going to be the thing that will appear, okay? That will be toggled every time you click it. Sonic, the text on it, you close the button. After that, you open the drop-down menu with the class in your div. Drop-down menu will have drop-down items. And after that, you just put href you want and put the name of it. Close the div, close the div, close the div. After that, I'm going to show you how to do those vertically, okay? There are different buttons. If I click Sonic, it's not clicking the drop-down. Okay, let me just show you. This first one, the button Sony, very simple. Then, second one is going to be button with type button, false. It will have the class of button primary, button, the drop down toggle, that we already know, and the drop-down toggle split, so you can split the button from the drop-down arrow. The toggle drop-down is for the drop-down, so you can know what we want to toggle. Then you have the span class caret. I don't really know what caret does, but if it has, it should be something, right? Inside of a span class. Then close the button. Then you put div class and drop-down menu, the items of the drop-down. Very easy. Finally, very easy button group variable. What you will do, you'll simply add this drop-down while it's vertical. It's the same thing, the really same thing as the previous one, but with a vertical. Okay? Very easy. No need to explain. Only has the drop-down toggle, not the drop-down toggle split, because we are not splitting the Sony. The toggle drop-down, the items, very easy. And lastly, if you want to do side-by-side group buttons, you can just simply do two button group divs with buttons inside it. You can do multiple of them, okay? You see? You just go by... Yeah, it just goes. It is not hard to do anything or something. It's very easy, and you can do as many as you want. For this video, it's everything. It was a little bit bigger than expected, okay? And if you don't want to miss any bootstrap content, subscribe, the bell, see the HTML and CSS videos that I have. There are a lot, actually. And hope you guys enjoyed, and see you soon.